This is a tough pick because both teams, I don't think, had the wins that they wanted to have.
Not
in
a big
week one.
advantage.
Oh,
not a
for
big
sure.
advantage.
They did not have the wins that they wanted in week one.
For sure. Youngstown State versus Michigan State.
YSU.
I'm expecting Mel Tucker and them to ride this wave, man.
I mean, yeah.
You know what? You know what would be perfect? Be undefeated when you see us in October. I don't want you to have a blemish.
I think that's possible.
Be undefeated.
I don't remember who they're playing in the third week, but
I don't want you to have a single loss. I don't even know who you play. I ain't looked at Stady's schedule.
You want to break the streak?
I want to give them niggas exactly what we got waiting for them. And I want you to be good when we do it. I want you to be ranked. So then we can shut everybody up about beating ranked teams because we're going to beat the shit out of Michigan State.
I don't know if they're going to be ranked.
Hmm?
I don't know if they'll be ranked.
If they're undefeated, they'll definitely be ranked.
Not after beating Ball State.
If they're undefeated, if Michigan State is undefeated by the time they play us in October, they will be ranked.
We'll see. Ball State versus Penn State.
Penn State.
Penn State, very clearly. Yeah. Rutgers versus Reams College, Syracuse.
You got the Q's.
The Battle of the State.
It's New Jersey versus New York.
Man, that's our low cousin.
Jersey versus New York.
Yeah.
The Battle of the Chopped Cheese.
The leathers versus the butt nakeds.
They about to stop.
South Canada.
They about to stop the football game, go to the field goal post, and do pull-ups.
That's what's going to happen. They going to have a calisthenics.
And do pull-ups, and that's who wins the football
That's the contest.
Two in the park doing calisthenics.
Yes.
Do more.
Yo, you got the one old dude that I always see. They say he's like 60 years old.
Yeah.
And they're doing the stress band work and all of that.
That old nigga intimidating, dog.
Hell no.
Hey,
Hell no.
Say one false word to that man, he'll punch a hole straight through your chest.
Sheesh. Hell no. Next game is Howard versus Maryland.
I'm taking Howard off GP.
HUOE.
Yeah, shout out to Howard.
If we go in that angle, then
for the upset wins. Hey, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen to Maryland.
Let's go Bison.
Oh yeah.
If there's gonna be an HBCU that defeats a Big Ten team, it's gonna happen to Maryland.
I can see that.
So stamp it, Charles Barkley, guarantee Howard over
I'm not
Maryland.
guaranteeing it.
They riding high. Their confidence is up there. They think they can hang. They're gonna slip. It's Mike Loxley.
Just for that, two of his little brothers going for 400 yards,
and they still gonna lose.
They're gonna get beat by some Bison.
Yikes!
I got Howard.
Illinois versus Virginia.
That's a good one.
Virginia.
If Brandon Peters shows up 100%, then I got Illinois. But if not, then I think I got Virginia.
That sounds like a caveat. Pick one.
Virginia.
I'm gonna take Illinois.
Racist.
by a score.
Okay.
Close game.
Iowa versus Iowa State.
Iowa.
Yeah.
I think I got Iowa for the upset.
Iowa. Yeah, I got Iowa.
Just because of the defense, honestly. I don't think Iowa State has anything that's... I mean, they are, top 10 right now? Mm-hmm. But I don't think they have anything that's going to show up against that defense. Purdue versus Uconn.
Seeing what they did against Oregon State gives me a little bit more confidence for them out of conference. Uconn isn't really a prolific anything. They don't have a prolific offense. They don't have a knockdown, drag out defense. So there's nothing there that tells me Purdue shouldn't go in there and compete. At
Agreed.
very least. All things equal, I guess I'm going with the Big Ten team. I'll go with Purdue.
I'm going Boilermakers for sure.
I'm going with UConn. Let's go Huskies.
They're a basketball team, fam. Stop it.
That's fine. That's fine. It's going to be a little cold.
Okay. Miami of Ohio versus Minnesota.
So Minnesota is in a weird spot right now, I feel like, because they were Indiana 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. You know, when they won those 11 games, people were expecting them to come back and be in a Big Ten championship game.
Mm-hmm.
So now, with them taking this early loss to Ohio State, they got to start to try and right the ship to save the narrative for the season.
For sure.
I don't think they're a team that's built to have, missed expectations or if they lose their first 2 or 3 games, just like I said about Wisconsin, it could get late very early for Minnesota. So I got them coming back strong in this one. But it'll be interesting to see what Minnesota does for the rest of the season, because that tells me where Fleck's going to end up by the end of the season.
For sure. I think Tanner Morgan's going to have a field day against Miami of Ohio because Minnesota no longer has Ibrahim. So prayers for Ibrahim, because I think that's a season-ending injury.
Was it? What was it?
Lower leg. Somewhere in his lower leg.
What the injury was?
I didn't see what it was.
When I saw him, it kind of looked like something popped. So I didn't know if he like tore a calf muscle or something like that. Or
what's going on with sports these days with these like unique injuries?
I can't remember how it happened. Did somebody pull him while he was?
I think he was like trying to get out of a tackle, and he planted and kind of like hyper extended his leg out. And so when he pressed it out, you just seen something back here go pop.
I did see that, yeah.
Like a damn Twizzler.
Indiana State versus Northwestern.
Northwestern. They're going to bounce back. Northwestern is still going to be a tough team to beat. Now, obviously, they're not going to be competing for any Big Ten championships this year. They're young and experienced, but I expect Pat to get in their ass this week.
They're also not losing to Indiana State.
Yeah, they made a lot of mistakes against Michigan State.
Eastern Michigan versus Wisconsin. I think the same thing in that game.
Yeah, Wisconsin. Not Brett Bielema, but Paul Chris. He's gonna have his guys ready to play
for sure.
All right, like they've got to refocus and kind of get right for the rest of the season. It's unfortunate that they had a conference game like that week 1.
Yeah,
but now you kind of gotta get back to it and right the ship before the season is gone.
They had opportunities to win it though.
They did.
I think Graham Mertz is going to get off. I think I like their running back who they got from a top team. I want to say Clemson, maybe. He was on Clemson's
Clemson transfer at Wisconsin.
I think so. Malusi, I think is his name. I like him. I think he's going to have a good game as well. Buffalo versus Nebraska.
Griselda.
I mean, come on. Adrian Martinez had, again, 600 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Versus Fordham.
And he's playing Buffalo from the MAC.
No, they should have another ramp up. Another powder puff, and
it's not going to mean anything by the end of the season.
No, it's not. And if you're Scott Frost, and the best thing that you can take back to the brass at Nebraska through the first 4 weeks are blowout wins versus Buffalo and Fordham.
Yikes!
I don't think that's where they expected to be at this point in your tenure.
Agreed.
Buffalo.
No.
Nebraska. Don't do that to yourself.
Michigan versus Washington.
Big one.
Washington lost last week, I think.
Yes, they did. They lost to Montana.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is why I said it early, like in terms of opponents that maybe some critics or commentators thought would beat Michigan at the beginning of this. You got to start looking at some of these now, because maybe Wisconsin isn't as strong as we thought. Maybe Northwestern isn't going to be as tough of a game as they have been in past years. Maybe Indiana's not going to be as tough as a game as they have been in past years. We don't know. Washington, though, if Michigan can come in this night game and do what they're supposed to, because I always had us beating Washington. Now I have a feeling that we can beat them handily.
Do you enter the top 25 after that game?
Yeah, and no question.
Okay.
No question. I wouldn't be surprised to see them crack it this week.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well, Ohio State versus Oregon. I will say that the one thing that frightens me going into this game is our defense, because like you said, they did struggle. Ibrahim, I think before his injury, got off 180 yards or something like that. Yeah. That's fucking scary.
Yeah. And the backup back didn't have a bad day either.
No, he didn't.
So the linebackers, Ohio State's linebackers, they're a little undersized. They're
actually
quick laterally, but they're not filling well. They don't fill the gaps well. Number one. Corners, speedy, athletic as ever, but handsy. Don't trust technique. Brooks, I don't know if he was supposed to be starting, but he looked like he shouldn't have been. Like, he got one pass interference called on him, and probably should have gotten 2 or 3 more. Because every time it even looked like they were going to go his way, it was automatic. You know what I mean? So what I want to see from them is whether or not, A, on offense, are they still relying on big plays? It's one thing to have big plays in the back of your pocket. It's another thing to depend on them.
Yeah.
2, with the defense, are you able to control the line of scrimmage from a defensive perspective? And are you also forcing the defense to dink and dunk? Because if I know I can just go over the top, take it from a guy who got taken up top every game last year, if they know that they can beat you vertically, they will go to it constantly to put you in jeopardy.
To find that big play.
So we will see.
That's probably the biggest thing I'm afraid of. I do think CJ Stroud might not find his footing immediately in this game either. I'm just predicting that now. But
where's this game at?
It's in Ohio State. It's in Columbus.
Okay.
But I do think we're going to get this win too.
This is a tough pick because both teams, I don't think, had the wins that they wanted to have.
Not
in
a big
week one.
advantage.
Oh,
not a
for
big
sure.
advantage.
They did not have the wins that they wanted in week one.
For sure.
So I think both of them come up amped, ready
I
for this
agree
game,
with that
eager
too.
to prove themselves.
Yeah, to really win
But
it.
mind
the
you,
way
it
they
is in
wanna win it.
Columbus.
That's what I'm saying. If it's home,
It
fam,
is in the shoe, right? So I guess by default, if it's that close and I have that hard of a time
Home field
picking
advantage.
it,
Home
home
field
field
advantage.
advantage will be the decider. I'll go with the Bucks by a score.
Hey, where y'all going? Where y'all going?
Thanks for watching another Back of the Bus Squad episode. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
Want to check out another episode related to this? Go ahead and click that video to the left.
If you want to catch up on some of our other episodes, make sure you click the playlist below.